The only one that was closer, as far as intrigue goes, I guess, was probably 99, Andy Reid's first year, when there was all this buzz about who they were going to take with their first pick, the number 2 pick overall. As you remember, everybody wanted Ricky Williams. There was the big contingent that went to the draft to try to convince them, and they wound up taking Donovan, number 2 overall, instead. That worked out pretty well for them. But, yeah, as far this was definitely caused a lot of rumors, intrigue, mystery. It's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out. I don't think anybody really knows for sure except the Eagles.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that, and that's a good example because you're right. That McNabb draft, it seemed that the fans wanted Williams, but there wasn't the tie of McNabb and Reed like there is Mariota and Kelly.
Right.
What do you make of some of the rumors that are out there? 3-team trades, Bradford to Cleveland for the 19th pick. There's a couple of different ones out there. But do you think, Dave, that Bradford is a legitimate piece still?
I think he stays with the Eagles. I'm going to take Chip at his word when he said that when he signed him, he said he was not going to be the bargaining chip, that he was the only chip there. And I'm going to trust him that he meant it when he said that. And that Bradford is going to be an Eagle this year. However, this is the NFL we're talking about. Things often change. You can never take a coach or an agent or a player even at his word. So I guess there's a scenario there. But my question with the Bradford thing, though, is if Cleveland wanted Bradford, why didn't they just sign him as a free agent? Why did they have to wait till now to work this trade?
When is it? When he's due to become a free agent next year?
Right. Why not just work a trade instead of working a trade with the Eagles? I don't quite get it. Or wait till next year, like you said, right? I don't quite understand why.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, Dave. They had an offer to St. Louis. The holdup was, number one, St. Louis wanted a quarterback in return, and number two, Bradford would not sign an extension to go there, correct?
Right, correct, yes.
So in this situation...
Well, he won't sign an extension to go anywhere now.
Right, now he decided, I will sign an extension in Philly, but I will not go anyplace else and sign. Have you ever heard of a no-trade clause in the NFL?
No, I haven't, to be honest with you. I don't think. I know it's commonplace in baseball,
sure.
Certainly. But no, I can't say that I have. Although I guess it's probably not unheard of. Maybe it's just not talked about a great deal. But because when you think about it, when it comes to star players and stuff, trades are pretty rare.
Sure.
You really don't see that many. Most of them leave via free agency if they're going to leave. So. But that is a new one on me.
A lot of stuff rolling in as we get close here, and obviously Sam Bradford's name gets brought up a lot. Mariota's name gets brought up a lot, but some of the other guys, Michael Kendricks, Fletcher Cox, those guys.
That's ludicrous to me.
You think those guys could be a part of a trade, and is that too much? You sound like you don't think that's too much. You think that's too much to give up?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know why the Eagles would want to do that. Fletcher Cox is going to be a freaking Pro Bowler for the next 5 or 6 years, and I think Michael Kendricks is right on the cusp of being a very good Pro Bowl quality inside linebacker. Certainly a long-time starter in this league. I would not give those two guys up under any circumstances. I wouldn't get that. You've already talked about how the need to improve your defense and to upgrade it. Why would you give away your two best players for a quarterback who I guess certainly has the potential to be a star, but nothing's ever guaranteed when it comes to playing quarterback in the NFL. And I just wouldn't. I wouldn't even consider doing that if I were the Eagles. And again, we're talking Chip Kelly here, so I guess everything's on the table there.
Yeah, well, and I guess the retort to that would be, if you had a franchise quarterback, wouldn't it be worth trading a defensive end for? Yes, J.J. Watt might be the best player in the league at his position, but they haven't been to the playoffs in 2 years with J.J. Watt. So if you thought Mariota was your version of Andrew Luck, would you make that deal?
If I thought that, maybe. I don't think that, though, so no. I wouldn't, but maybe if Chip Kelly thinks that, then yeah, okay.
Right. Well, and that's if that is his gut feeling, Dave. He says, "Look, this guy I know can run my offense, and we will succeed." At that point, you say, "I'm willing to give up a defensive end to get a franchise quarterback."
and a linebacker.
Well, okay, let's go to the linebacker, though. What is Kendrick's role on this team with Ryans and Alonzo here?
Ryans, who's over 30 or at least 30 and coming off his second ruptured Achilles in his career. So I don't get why they brought him back, to be honest with you. I mean, I like D'Amico as a leader and as a, an influence in the locker room, but I don't think he can play. I'm not real sure he can play anymore, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
So why not Kiko Alonso and Michael Kendricks from the inside?
Valid point, and I agree with you. I mean, I can certainly see to say, all right, well, now we have some depth in case one of these guys, Alonso has been hurt, Ryans has obviously been hurt, and for that matter, Kendricks has also been hurt over the last couple of years. He's missed some games with some injury, so now you have three of them. But I guess one of them could be a chip to be traded, and would you think that Kendricks is the most likely guy to be traded?
Yeah, he has the most potential, and he's certainly not going to trade Alonso after just getting him for LaShawn McCoy. So, yeah, I guess if you're going to need to trade an outstanding player or two to move up that high, and Kendrick certainly fits that bill. So, you're not going to get it done with D'Amico Ryans, that's for sure. So, I guess if you're willing to make that kind of a bold move, I guess you got to give up a lot of talent in order to do it. So. I guess that makes sense.
Well, and right, if you're at number 20 and you trade at Michael Kendricks and Fletcher Cox, and then you're obviously flip-flopping picks, it sounds like in lieu of mortgaging your future, meaning giving up draft choices, giving up actual players on your roster would prevent that.
Right. Quick question. I'm a little confused, though. Why would the Eagles want to trade Bradford to Cleveland for the 19th pick and then package those guys to move up to 2? Why can't you just use the 20th pick and those two guys to move up to 2? What's the difference between 19 and 20?
Well, I guess you're giving them 2 picks instead of 1.
What do you mean? I guess. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you're giving up 19 and 20.
Right.
Yeah,
Tennessee's getting 19, 20 plus Fletcher Cox and
I got you.
Yeah. So they're getting 4 potential.
Day,
they're getting 4 potential starters out of the deal. You're getting the quarterback.
Right.
So believe me, it is a very to me fluid situation. And the report today from the Cleveland Plain Dealer that the Browns would still like to acquire Sam Bradford, but notes it's not likely to happen. So they obviously like Sam Bradford. You wonder, Dave, if they like him enough to trade him for the 12th pick that Cleveland also owns. Would that be worth it to you?
Yes, I guess. And the other thing that kind of puzzles me is, though, everybody knows that Chip Kelly loves Marcus Mariota, but you're assuming he's the only one who loves him that much. What about the 17 teams between the Eagles and the Titans? Isn't there any other team there that views Mariota in the same light as Chip does? And if so,
well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because a lot of people ask, well, if this Mariota's so good, how come more teams don't want him? Do you feel that he is a guy who fits what Chip does, but not what a majority of the teams do in this league? Doesn't fit their system, but maybe fits Philadelphia's system?
Well, there's this misnomer, I guess, that Kelly has a certain system, but he's always maintained that he can fit his system around any quarterback, which I guess he proved with Nick Foles, and he's going to prove with Sam Bradford, assuming Sam's still there, and he did with Sanchez too. I mean, I guess ideally he wants that mobile quarterback, but I don't think it's necessarily they can't function without one because they've proven they've gone 10-6 the last 2 years with guys who aren't exactly speed demons or anything. But so I guess ideally he's probably the guy who fits Chip's system best, but it seems to me that Chip's able to adapt his system to no matter who's playing quarterback for him.
We're talking with Eagles beat writer Dave Weinberg from the Press of Atlantic City. And I agree with that, but ultimately, I guess it's hey, I can run an offense with these guys, but if you want me to do what you hired me to do, then I need to have this guy. So I guess I can see that angle of it. Yeah, I can succeed with these guys. I can win 10 games with these guys, but I might be able to win 12 games with these guys.
Maybe, yeah. I can see your point there.
Well, and it is
You're not going to convince me to do the trade, but I understand your point.
Well, and at this point, I'm not sure if I want. I'm intrigued by Bradford. I think that Bradford can play, and I think that he can play at a pretty high level. So I'd like to see him. That being said, if Kelly feels strong enough that Mariota is the right fit, then I'm also intrigued by that as well.
Yeah, I guess, that's true. And it definitely adds some excitement to the team, and add some, even more excitement, I guess I should say. And, it's Kelly's made no bones about the fact that, he thinks Mariota's a future Pro Bowler and he's going to win multiple Super Bowls and all this stuff, which seems kind of like a outlandish statement to me. But if he really believes it, then more power to him, I guess.
Dave Weinberg's with us here. We're looking at the Eagles draft. All right, if it's not Mariota, where do you think the best option is in that first round?
The best option? You mean if they stay at 20?
Yeah. What position in this particular draft class? I mean, a lot of people look at safety, but there's not great safety play. So do you go in a different direction?
Right. You can probably get like a safety in the second round, I think, if you really want one. I would say either wide receiver or offensive line. It seems like there's a lot of depth at both of those positions, a lot of talent that's there. So I would say, and there's the two needs that the Eagles are going to have too, especially if they're, if Evan Mathis isn't back. They really need a starting guard, and you can always upgrade the wide receiver position because they don't have much there now. So, and in the mock draft that I haven't taken Jalen Strong, the wide receiver from Arizona State.
Nice.
But nobody had him taking Marcus Smith last year, so what the heck do I know?
Absolutely. Now, because they took Marcus Smith last year, they brought back Brandon Graham. They also got, they re-signed or gave the extension there or gave more money to Connor Barwin. So they made sure that they had some guys there. But they're still light a safety and they're still light a corner. So what about one of those spots?
Corner or safety?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's clearly a possibility too. Yeah. They have holes all over the place. That's why I wouldn't understand. You're gonna have a hole with defensive end if you trade Fletcher Cox. So, I don't know why you would create more holes just to fill possibly one. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and that's true. That's one thing that I've been saying is the one thing with Cox, and I know everybody says, well, I don't want to trade Cox. You got to give something to get something, but you don't have a replacement for him. You do have a fill-in for Kendricks.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the fight coming up this weekend, Dave. I know you're not going.
Okay.
You're not going to the fight, are you?
No, I'm really upset about it too. I was really planning on it. It's like being a golf writer and not going to the Masters.
Yeah.
This is like the one, but this is like the one fight that people have been talking about for years, and now it's finally happening. But Dave, I couldn't convince the NFL to delay the draft for a week.
Dave wears a couple of hats. He covers the Eagles. He also covers boxing for the press, and he's also their columnist, which means he had to choose between the draft and the boxing match this weekend out there in Vegas. You obviously have seen Mayweather and have followed a lot of him. And what do you think it is? To me, I was talking about this yesterday. Does he have a signature win to you?
Mayweather?
Yeah.
Well, it's been a while. I mean, he's beaten a lot of good fighters: Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, Diego Corrales. I don't know if you probably can't put Arturo Gatti in that class. I mean, the Atlantic City people probably would, but I wouldn't. But I know that's always been the argument, that he hasn't beaten anybody of note, but he's beaten everybody they put in front of him. Granted, those guys were probably a little bit past their primes, and Canelo Alvarez, I think, is a pretty strong name on his resume. But Pacquiao was also past his prime, and so I think he kind of fits in the same category with those other guys. So I don't hold against Floyd that he doesn't have that signature win, so to speak.
I'm just wondering, is it just because he's a jerk, because he's a bad human being? What is it about Mayweather that he's going to make $150 million plus on this fight, that they can charge $99 for pay-per-view? What is it about Mayweather that garners that kind of financial backing?
Well, I think it's half the people love to watch him fight because of his talent, and half the people will pay us to see him lose because he's such a jerk. Actually, I'm writing a column about this tomorrow. That when it comes to this kind of thing, you kind of have to separate the personal aspect from the talent. Is he a despicable human being? Absolutely, but I can't, like in good conscience, I can't pick against him because of that.
Sure,
because he's such a great fighter. Is he a jerk? Absolutely, but I think he wins this fight easy.
Really?
I don't even think it's close.
Wow.
Yeah, I do. I could never bet against him. He's so good. And Pacquiao is tremendous too. Don't get me wrong, but he's been beaten, and I can't get this image of Juan Manuel Marquez knocking him cold a couple of years ago, who Mayweather beat, by the way, rather handily. So I just don't. I know he's a very polarizing figure because of his personality, because of his run-ins with the law, his treatment of women, but he's just a fantastic fighter that you kind of have to put all that aside. But either way, people will pay to see him, whether they want to see him win or lose. But people will pay.
Do you think this fight will be worth the $99 they're charging?
Not for me. I'm paying $30 to go to the Borgata to and you get a free drink too. But Borgata, Tropicana, and Golden Nugget are all offering the fights for like $30-$35.
Well, that's good.
So that would be the way to go.
That is good to know. But okay, you're sitting at home at night.
I wouldn't pay $100.
I would say, do you think this fight will? You think he will win the fight and handily? You said. Yes,
I do.
You mentioned Pacquiao got knocked out. And by who was that again? Marquez, right?
Well, Marquez.
Right, correct.
Right.
Does Mayweather have the ability to knock Pacquiao out, in your opinion?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are.
Because Pacquiao, one thing he's known for coming. He just keeps coming right at you.
Right.
And I wonder if Mayweather has the chance, the knockout power to stop that.
That's why I think he can, because I think that Pacquiao only knows one way. He has that aggressive style that makes everything really exciting, but he can be caught because of that, as Marquez proved. And Mayweather doesn't have like that one-punch power, but if he hurts you, he can put you away. He's as good a finisher as there is. If he sees a weakness, he'll pounce on it. And I know it's been a while since he's had a knockout, but I think if he can get Pacquiao in trouble, I think he'll stop him.
Dave Weinberg, the boxing writer for the Press of Atlantic City, here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. Obviously, Saturday night. It's probably the biggest fight since when, Dave? When was a fight that you maybe didn't have as much hype, but was getting talked about as much as this?
Oh gosh, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, maybe.
Wow, going back that far, huh?
Yeah, that's been a while. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's maybe like Hagler, Hearns, and those kind of deals. They were tremendous fights back in the day, but you're going back even farther to those things. So it's been quite a while that I've seen a fight with this much hype around it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, going back to the Tyson Lewis, that was what, like 2002, 2001, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's ask this question then. What's next for these two guys? All right, let's take it from both sides. Mayweather wins. Then what?
He'll fight one more time. It won't be against Pacquiao, though, I don't think. I don't know. I'm not sure who it would be against, but I think he'll fight one more. And that's what he said anyway, that he's going to fight one more this year, and then he's going to be done. Pacquiao, I'm not real sure. There's going to be a lot of guys who want to fight him, and he's a fighter at heart. But he also has a lot of outside interests in the Philippines and stuff for his political career and stuff. So I would think that he'd probably want a rematch with Floyd, but I don't think he'd get it if he lost. There's a very real possibility that Manny maybe retires if he beats Floyd and just goes out on top.
That'd be interesting. I'm interested from that angle to see what's next for these guys, because this fight's been talked about for 5 years, and all right, here we are at the end of the line. I'm wondering. Now, some people, Dave,
there's not a lot of competition at their weight class anymore.
Gotcha.
So that's why Pacquiao's fought Marquez 4 times. He fought Bradley twice, and Mayweather fought Maidana twice. There's really not a whole lot. I guess their other option is to maybe go up in weight. If they want, they can probably try to convince Gennady Golovkin, the 160-pound champ, to maybe move down, maybe meet at a catch weight. But that would be suicide for those guys, because Triple G would just annihilate both of them.
Wow. All right. I like that comment.
Some
people have commented, oh, this fight's 5 years too late past their prime, but that makes the fight actually more compelling because of the fact that maybe they're a split second slower. That makes this more of an action-packed fight. Do you buy that?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it might have been more boring 5 years ago because Floyd's, very fast. He's more of a defensive fighter, and he probably would have tried to box him and move around a little bit more. And it would have been pretty boring. Yeah, he has slowed down a step, so. Yeah, that's a really good point. It might be more exciting because the guys are a little bit older and they're a little bit, I don't want to say slower, but maybe just lost that edge just a little bit. So it might make for some fireworks on Saturday night.
All right, Dave, I saw your column. We were talking about before you came on about baseball in the paper last week. So I'll ask you this. Yes. Are you pro DH or no DH?
No DH.
All right, thanks.
I'm a purist, I guess.
Thankfully. All right. Do you have your head on straight?
How about you?
I hate the DH. I hate it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so. All right,
I know there's a lot of hectic stuff because the guy got hit the other day or something, or ruptured his Achilles, right?
Yep. Well, one guy got hit, and I guess jammed his thumb, the Max Scherzer, and then the other guy tore his Achilles.
Yeah, but no, you should have to hit, I think.
I agree. All right, Dave Weinberg from the Press of Atlantic City. Check out that column on baseball and everything on the thanks. Eagles, and you're working on the boxing column tomorrow. As well in the Press of Atlantic City. All right, Dave, thanks so much, man.
Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.